Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Screen Facts with Jason Davis. This is episode 19.
19?
19 already. Can you believe it?
You're on a roll, brother.
Yeah, well, I'm having a good time doing this, and I'm very pleased to have back in the studio with me to record this episode my brother from another mother, Tim Donnelly. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks. It's great to be back, man.
Yes, sir. So I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to come in, especially because you are a school teacher.
I am indeed.
And we are a mere days away from the beginning of the new school year.
I'm trying not to think about the encroaching school year. It's still summer, damn it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring that up. But, I mean, I know that you're really busy right now getting ready for the year, and you're taking care of all of your teachery things.
Teachery things, yeah.
So we are here to talk about a movie that focuses on a subject that is near and dear to both of our hearts.
Yep.
And that is
music.
Music, baby.
Yes.
This is a movie that I feel a lot of people may have missed out on. I try to do movies on the podcast that are sort of mainstream, and I feel like a lot of people have seen and will enjoy listening to facts about them and stuff.
Sure.
This could be a movie that people go, I don't remember that movie.
Right. But they should, because it's a great movie.
It's an amazing movie. Yeah, this is a movie that didn't have a huge run in the theaters.
Right.
It should have.
It should have. I don't think it necessarily made a ton of money in the theaters either.
It did not. In fact, an estimated budget of $26 million. It grossed $25.7 million in the U.S., $34.5 million worldwide. The movie we're talking about is That Thing You Do.
Yes.
Released October 4th, 1996, written and directed by Tom Hanks. Yet another reason why the movie should have been huge.
Agreed.
Because this came out after both of his Oscar wins.
Both of his Oscars, his 1-2 punch for Philadelphia and Forrest Gump. I forget what show it was on, but Tom Hanks told the story like this. He said, I've just won 2 Oscars. I'm a big honkin' movie star, and you have to let me make this movie that I want to write and direct. But of course, he said it in his inimitable Tom Hanks way, I'm sure, with charm and tongue planted fully in cheek.
Yes, of course. Tom Hanks is so fucking amazing, man.
Yes, he is.
His acting aside, which of course is brilliant,
Right.
This movie is so well written, well directed. He even co-wrote some of the music in the movie.
Yeah, he did, which we'll talk about later in the podcast, I'm sure.
Absolutely, and the music for this movie is phenomenal. I mean, it's a great soundtrack.
It's an awesome soundtrack, and I don't know if the listeners out there in podcast land know this or not, but you and I are former trivia hosts.
Yes.
And in between the questions, of course, we play music to give the teams time to think up an answer to the question. And every time at a gig I would play That Thing You Do, people would go nuts. Like, oh, man, great song, man. I would see people kind of singing along and bopping their heads. It's a great, great tune.
Absolutely. Very catchy theme song. The song, there's a great story behind the song, in fact.
Do tell, Jason.
Well, the title song, That Thing You Do, was nominated for an Oscar and a Golden Globe. Surprisingly, didn't win either. Had the movie been a bigger hit, I think it probably would have won.
That's a fair point.
It's really, really an amazingly catchy song, and I'm actually surprised it wasn't a huge hit, too.
It had better be a catchy song, because how many times throughout the course of the movie do you hear it, either in its entirety or in little snippets?
11 times.
11 times. So it better be a catchy tune.
Yeah, and the movie's probably a shade over an hour and a half in the theatrical version.
Theatrical cut, it's like an hour and 47 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say something like that.
Yeah.
There is a director's cut that's 2.5 hours, which I did not watch.
Okay.
You said you watched it. You didn't really like it as much.
I think the director's cut, while interesting, and it certainly expands the storyline of a lot of the characters, less is definitely more in this case.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks made the right decision cutting what he cut.
Right. I was reading about what the differences were between the director's cut and the theatrical release. We'll get to that in a second. Let's talk a little bit more about the song before we get too far ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Here. We're really excited to talk about this movie. Can you tell?
Clearly.
So, the movie really happens because of this song, too. So that's another reason why I'm surprised it wasn't, a bigger success, the song. But Adam Schlesinger, the bassist of Fountains of Wayne, their big hit, of course, was Stacy's mom.
Stacy's mom, that's right.
They're from around here, too.
They are.
In Jersey.
They got their name, Fountains of Wayne, from an old store not too far from here.
Right.
Where we're recording this podcast. The store is now defunct and it's not there anymore.
Right.
But they're local boys.
Yep. Adam Schlesinger wrote the song in response to a contest that was being held by the studio that made the movie.
Okay.
He actually didn't think he had a chance of winning. He just kind of did it as an exercise in songwriting because he thought it was a little bit different from what he would normally write.
That's unbelievable. He just did it. I'll never win. I won't win the contest. Just a little songwriting exercise. And it turns out to be it's the title track of the film, man.
I know. Oh. And it's, again, the whole movie circles around this song. I mean, it's all about the song.
Right.
The singer-songwriter Mike Viola of the Candy Butchers was the guy who provided lead vocals on the track, as well as some of the other songs in the movie, Little Wild One and All My Only Dreams.
Right.
And I mentioned Tom Hanks co-wrote some of the other music in the movie as well with producer Gary Getzman. Mm-hmm. Steve Zahn, who's one of the great actors in this movie.
Yes.
Who plays one of the band members.
Lenny Hayes.
Lenny Hayes. And I got to tell you, he's my favorite guy in the movie. He's awesome.
He is the goofball.
He's the goofball, he has some of the best lines in the movie, too.
Yeah, he does.
You know, I mean, obviously that's how it's written, but he's just really great when he delivers those lines, too. So he's actually a real accomplished singer-guitar player.
He is, right?
And they say that he actually played guitar and sang in this movie and Saving Silverman in 2001. Right. Now, one of the songs, Dance With Me Tonight from the movie.
Okay.
In the movie, he's the lead vocalist.
Right.
Whether or not he actually sings lead on the track too, I don't know, but
nor do I.
I couldn't find that information when I did the research. But
then what the hell are we doing here?
We're just bullshitting about a movie. Last time I checked,
you couldn't find that information.
I'm sorry,
folks. Tune out now.
No, don't listen to Tim. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
Kidding.
And another interesting side note: "All My Only Dreams," which is the ballad that they play at Villa Pianos.
Right. It's the B-side,
right?
The B-side. The B-side of the 45 of That Thing You Do in
Absolutely.
The movie.
That song also makes an appearance in the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which Tom Hanks produced.
Correctamundo.
I didn't realize that. I haven't seen that movie in a while, so I'll have to watch that again to look for that.
Should we do that on the next podcast?
Maybe. It's going to be Tom Hanks overload.
Right?
The whole soundtrack is phenomenal, but the movie is even more phenomenal. Let's go back to what we were talking about before, about the differences between the theatrical cut and the director's cut, which both appear on the Blu-ray of the movie.
Right. You can also get it on DVD as a double discer.
Okay.
The theatrical cut and the director's cut.
Okay. So the things I read about the differences, the director's cut, like you said, kind of expands on some of the characters a little bit more. They expand on the relationship between Guy Patterson, Skitch, and
take us there, Skitch,
and Tina,
right?
Played by Charlize Theron in the movie.
Of course, Charlize Theron. I think she was the first actor to audition for a role in this movie, and she was the first one cast.
Their relationship in the movie, in the theatrical release, isn't really explored that much. I mean, it's kind of, you kind of get the sense that she's really not impressed with his drumming and his involvement at the band and this and that.
You clearly get it that they're boyfriend and girlfriend, and it's like a syrupy, sweet kind of 1960s cutesy boy-girl romance. But you're right, they don't really go into the details and the nuts and bolts of their relationship. In the director's cut, there's a lot more Guy and Tina.
And then she ends up hooking up with her dentist.
With her dentist, right.
Which is sort of referenced in the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
But you actually see her being involved with the dentist in the director's cut.
Right. There's more Guy and Tina, and there's more Tina and dentist. So
yes.
Tina really gets around in the director's cut, let me tell you.
There you go. Now, no disrespect to Charlize Theron, who's an amazing actress.
Yes, she is.
And is very good in her limited role in the theatrical release of this. I think the amount of Tina in this movie is perfect.
Agreed.
The story is really about the band,
of course,
in my opinion. I think that it's really all about the meteoric rise of the Wonders,
right,
or the Oneaters.
Hey, that's the Onnetters.
But yeah, and the stuff with the characters, the relationships and things like that, to me, doesn't matter as much as getting the band.
I agree with you, as usual, 100%. There's just enough Tina in the movie. This movie, like you said, it's really about the music and the band.
Some of the other people in the movie, let's talk about the cast.
Okay.
Tom Hanks, of course.
Of course.
Has a smaller role in the theatrical release than the director's cut.
Yes.
Which, you got to give him credit for cutting himself out of the movie.
Yeah, for cutting his own part. He's a director. He can cut whatever the hell he wants.
Exactly. Tom Everett Scott, in his film debut, who's a great actor himself, and almost wasn't cast in this because of his resemblance to Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he looked a little too much like Tom Hanks.
Right.
Thought Tom Hanks.
Yeah, and it was actually Tom Hanks' wife, Rita Wilson, who said, hey, you should hire this guy. He's really good, and he's kind of cute.
I think he had some audition tapes on, and he was in the other room, and his wife, Rita Wilson, was watching them, and he heard her go, ooh, who's this guy? And he recognized the voice of Tom Everett Scott. And he said, no, I can't cast him. He looks too much like me. And Rita Wilson says, what are you kidding? That's nonsense. He's great. You should cast him. So thank you, Rita Wilson.
Yes. And I'm sure Tom Everett Scott thanks her all the time as well.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah. And Tom Everett Scott actually said that the character of Guy is very similar to himself. So it probably wasn't much of a stretch for him to play Guy Patterson.
Right.
So.
Who you said Lenny Hayes is your favorite character.
Yes.
Guy is my favorite character.
Well, you're a drummer, so it's natural.
Yeah. All cards on the table. Full disclosure, yes, he's my favorite because he is a drummer, and in theory, I am too.
Listen, he's a great character, too. I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody else in the film, but Lenny is just fucking funny, man. He's just great.
No, you're right. Lenny is funny, as Tom Hanks, as Mr. White says in the movie. Lenny is the goofball, Jimmy is the talent, Guy is the smart one. But I mean, Guy inspires the band's name.
Right.
Guy should get the credit for their meteoric rise to fame.
Absolutely, because he takes what's a ballad, and turns it into this great pop, hard driving song,
happy, snappy tune.
So, Liv Tyler plays Faye, who's
she does.
Jimmy's girlfriend. But
at first,
yes, at first. But Guy seems to have designs on her pretty early on in the movie, even though it's kind of like flirtatious.
Yeah, there's a little flirtation here and there. In the director's cut, there's much more overt flirtation between Guy and Faye.
That would actually be worth watching the director's cut for, that kind of stuff.
I'm not saying don't watch it. Yeah. I'm just saying that I think Tom Hanks made the right cuts. Less is more, but there's some interesting stuff in there.
So as we mentioned, Steve Zahn plays Lenny. Jonathan Sheck plays Jimmy Mattingly. James Mattingly the second, I should say. Ethan Embry, who's going to be on the next season of Walking Dead.
That's right.
He was in a movie when he was a kid called Dutch. I think it was a John Hughes movie.
Yeah, a John Hughes movie called Dutch, starring opposite Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill, yep.
Married with Children and Modern Family.
Yep.
And he was also Rusty in the last Vacation movie, Vegas Vacation.
Okay, that's right. Charlize Theron and Giovanni Ribisi has a small role in this as well, as Chad, the original drummer of the Oneaters.
Who breaks his arm trying to hop a parking meter and thus kind of sets the plot in motion.
Exactly. The interesting thing about the actors who play the Wonders is before they even looked at the script, they actually rehearsed as a band.
Yeah.
They had kind of a boot camp thing because I think only Steve Zahn knows how to play.
Right. One of the many things I appreciate about the film, they really did become this tight little rock band. I'm always frustrated by movies where it's obvious that the music you're hearing, it's not really the notes that the actors are playing on their instruments, and it drives me batshit crazy.
Yeah.
But this movie is pretty spot on. They really did learn how to play their instruments. They did a promotional tour in Japan where they played, and I heard a story once at one of the script read-throughs, at the table read-through with the entire cast. Tom Hanks told the Wonders, now when it comes to the part in the script where you guys play, I want you to get up and play. And there was a stage there with instruments at the read-through, and sure enough, when it came time to play, they went out the night before, they got matching suits, they got up, and they played.
That's actually kind of cool that they got the suits, too.
Yeah.
They really got into the roles that they were playing.
They really did.
They learned all the songs ahead of time and really nailed it. I mean, it was amazing.
And as actors, they developed this really great camaraderie, which, of course, spilled over into real life. When Tom Everett Scott got married
1997.
In 1997, who was his best man?
Steve Zahn.
Steve Zahn.
Which is a great story. So they're all still friends, probably. There was one of the features on the Blu-ray, which I'm assuming it's also on the DVD release, too.
I think so, too.
There's a reunion of the cast members, some of the cast members, not everybody.
Right.
And they talk about what it was like working together and working with Tom Hanks as a director. And they said that it was very rewarding because he basically said, hey, you can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Go for it. They had kind of free reign to go for it. And they said it was like the greatest experience. And it was kind of spoiled them a little bit.
Sure.
Because when they worked on other projects,
so all,
a little
all
different.
Downhill from there.
Yeah, it's a little different. One of the things about the movie that struck me from the first time I saw it, and then, of course, revisiting it, is just how it kind of mirrors reality in terms of music.
Sure.
The Playtone galaxy of stars in the movie, to me, feels like a real homage to Motown.
Right.
The artists are not like Motown artists, but the idea that they're kind of a family.
Right.
The Playtone Galaxy of Stars.
Playtone Galaxy
And they tour
of Stars,
together and all. They support each other.
Right.
Very, very much like Motown. Without a doubt, the parallels to the Beatles are unmistakable. in
Of
this
course.
movie.
And the Beatles are, in fact, referenced in the movie a couple of times.
They are. Which is interesting because the movie takes place in 1964. And that's the same year that the Beatles came to America.
Yeah, the Beatles came to America February 1964. They premiered the Ed Sullivan Show, I think Sunday night, February 9th, 1964. Over 70 million people watching, including a young, I believe, 8-year-old Tom Hanks watching that night.
There's a lot of artists that say, had the Beatles not appeared on Ed Sullivan, they might not have picked up guitars.
Right.
Two of my heroes, Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, are two of them. And to this day, they both say, you can't get better songwriting than Lennon and McCartney.
Right.
Billy Joel was another one.
Yeah.
Who has said that changed his life.
He was watching that night. He saw these 4 kids. They didn't look like prefabricated rock stars, just these young working class kids writing their own songs, making their own music. And he pointed at the TV and he said, the girls were going crazy and that's what I want to do.
Yep. That's a motivator for a lot of kids that in their teens, right?
Right.
So the Beatles, a couple of other things that are kind of parallel the Wonders and the Beatles. Mm-hmm. First off, the original spelling of the original band name, The Wonders, was a play on words. It was spelled Oneders.
Right.
The Oneaters.
The Oneaters.
The first hit for the Beatles, Please Please Me, was actually a sped up version of a slow ballad.
That's right.
Which is the same thing with That Thing You Do.
Right.
The Beatles' first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show, there was a shot of John Lennon that had the caption, "Sorry, girls, he's married."
Right. John's reaction isn't quite as pissy as Jimmy's reaction. You can very easily YouTube the footage. John just kind of smiles and giggles a little bit at the camera on the Ed Sullivan Show, whereas Jimmy on the Hollywood Television Showcase, little pissy, little bit.
Yeah, he doesn't like the careful girls, he's engaged.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a whole great scene with Liv Tyler. She's phenomenal. Both acts first reached fame after replacing their original drummer.
Correct.
Each group lost its original bass player. The Beatles' original bassist Stu Sutcliffe died, and the Wonders' bassist joined the Marines. Mm-hmm. Both had a last-minute temporary replacement after the bass player, as he's known in the movie. They never mention his name.
He has no name. His initials are TB for the bass, and his last name is
His
player. That's it.
Yeah, Ethan Embry.
Yeah.
Which is I guess kind of a musician joke. They always make fun of the drummer. Sorry.
They don't dare.
I shouldn't do that. He can strike me.
No, it's a running joke. What's the name of the guy who sits in with the rest of the musicians? The drummer.
Yeah, right. Listen, the drummer is the most important guy in the band as far as I'm concerned.
By definition, without rhythm, there is no music. So, hey, respect.
That's right.
Bitches.
So, and before the Beatles became famous, they had to change drummers from Pete Best to Ringo Starr. Right. And of course, Chad breaks his arm and Guy steps in to become the man that sets everything in motion for the Wonders.
Does. Give it up for the drummer. Give the drummer some.
That's right. So before they decided on the Wonders, they were kind of throwing a bunch of different names around in the movie. Let's talk about that.
If you look, I think the scene when they're at the diner, Jimmy's got his open notebook there,
right,
struggling to come up with a name for the group. He had the Dollars, the Lords of Erie, the Pastoons, the Thorns, the Mozarts, the Echoes, the Ticks, and the Flannels, and the one name he kept coming back to, which in the end credits he eventually does get a band with this name, the Herdsmen.
Herdsmen. With herd spelled like hearing.
Right, like I've heard it.
Right, and then Chad, who's still in the group at that time, he's a big car guy, so he says the Corvettes, and then Jimmy says, "Was that the Chordvettes? Like chords in our music?"
Like a chord in our right.
And I'm thinking that's a pretty good name for a band, actually.
Yeah, not bad.
Chordvettes. I mean, now it probably wouldn't be good. But...
Probably wouldn't fly, but hey, in 1964 out of Erie, PA, the Chordvettes, why not?
Absolutely. So one of the other things in the movie that's in fact, I'm wearing the T-shirt right now.
Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. He named the beach band that's in the major motion picture, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Right.
Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters, after 2 seafood restaurants near Beaufort, South Carolina, where many of the scenes in Forrest Gump were shot. Captain Geach's was on Ladies Island, but it's now closed. The Shrimp Shack is still open for business on St. Helena Island.
Nice.
In fact, Tom Hanks claimed that he wrote the script for this movie while on the promotional tour for Forrest Gump because he was so bored during the interview process.
I guess there are only so many times people can ask you to say life is like a box of chocolates.
Yeah, exactly. Tom, let me ask you, what does stupid is as stupid does mean to you? Exactly. So there's all kinds of great name shout-outs and references in this movie besides that.
Right. This movie is packed with little kind of inside jokes and references, which are really, really cool.
Tom Hanks is a big Oakland Raiders fan, and he names the pizza place that's out by the airport where they get their first... Villapiano's, where they get their first big gig. That's named after a former Raider linebacker, Phil Villapiano.
All right. There's another, if you watch the director's cut, speaking of the Oakland Raiders. In the director's cut, it's made very clear that Tom Hanks' character, Mr. White, is gay. And his boyfriend is outside the hotel one night waiting for him, and his boyfriend is played by former Oakland Raiders great Howie Long,
who is a Hall of Famer.
Yes, indeed.
The last names of Jimmy Mattingly, played by Jonathan Sheck, and Lenny Hayes, played by Steve Zahn, are both a nod to Apollo 13 astronauts Ken Mattingly and Fred Hayes. Tom Hanks starred as astronaut Jim Lovell in the movie Apollo 13 with both of those astronauts, well, not the real astronauts, but
right.
actors playing them. And when the Wonders perform at Boss Vic Koss's show in Pittsburgh, Kevin Pollak, who's amazing. One of the other bands that's on the marquee at the theater is Marilyn Lovell and the Geminis.
Right. Marilyn Lovell is a tribute to Jim Lovell's wife, Marilyn. And, of course, the Geminis, or as they said it back then, the Geminis, is a tribute to the NASA space program. Tom Hanks is a self-proclaimed NASA space geek. Last year, in 2014, CNN did this really good 10-part series called The 60s. And on the episode about the space race, Tom Hanks, who is also an executive producer of the series, he figures pretty prominently as a talking head in the episode about space.
Okay.
And you can just, you can see it in his eyes, you can hear it in his voice. Every time he speaks about NASA and the space program and the astronauts and the moon race, he's just like a giddy little boy.
Yeah.
He loves this NASA space stuff.
What was the show that he did for HBO?
It was called From the Earth to the Moon.
And there's actually a connection, this movie, to that as well.
Yes. At the Hollywood Television Showcase, you see actor Bryan Cranston. Yes, kids, that Bryan Cranston, the father from Malcolm in the Middle and high school chemistry teacher turned drug kingpin Walter White. That Bryan Cranston playing NASA astronaut, real-life astronaut Virgil Gus Grissom. And Cranston also played Buzz Aldrin in From the Earth to the Moon, which was on HBO back in 1998 and executive produced by the Tom Hanks. The man loves his space.
Yeah, and he's also big on World War II stuff, too.
Yes, he is.
Which we know about. Yeah, so it's kind of cool how he does these kind of tributes to the things that are obviously near and dear to him.
Yeah. We mentioned earlier in the podcast that Tom Hanks either wrote or co-wrote some of the songs featured in the movie.
Right.
He wrote the opening tune, Lovin' You Lots and Lots. He co-wrote the Freddie Fredrickson song, Mr. Downtown, the Chanterlines, Hold My Hand, Hold My Heart. He also co-wrote an instrumental tune called Voyage Around the Moon, which is played during the montage scene of the Wonders as they travel from state fair to state fair and as their song is climbing the charts. If you look at the credits, Voyage Around the Moon is credited to a group called the Saturn V. Okay. Now follow me on this.
Okay, I'm with you.
It may take me a minute to get there, but I'm going to get there.
That's fine.
Right? The Saturn V in real life was this almost 400-foot tall behemoth of a rocket.
Okay.
First used in 1966, it was built for NASA's Apollo space program, which was designed to explore the moon. Now, we mentioned that Tom Hanks played Jim Lovell in Apollo 13, and that's probably where most people know Jim Lovell from as the Apollo 13 astronaut. But Lovell was also the command module pilot on the Apollo 8 mission on board, yes, a Saturn V rocket, which, yes, was the first manned space flight to voyage around the moon.
Wow.
We got there, kids. We got there.
That was impressive, my man.
We got there.
That was amazing. God, I don't even know how to follow that. That was amazing. So another cool thing, Tom Hanks' character, Mr. White's first name is Andy. And it's only revealed once in the movie, at least in the theatrical release.
In the theatrical cut, it's revealed when Saul Seiler has a mouthful of deli, and Jimmy comes over and tries to talk to him about his music, and he yells,
Andy, what in the bloody hell is this?
Right.
Auditions during my lunchtime? You want to get Fabian away from me? So interestingly, Andy is also the name of the boy in Toy Story, whose favorite toy is Woody, which is voiced by
Tom Hanks.
There you go. Andy White, by the way, was also the name of a studio/session drummer in the 1960s, and he was known for replacing Ringo Starr on the Beatles' first single,
Love Me Do.
So there you go, all these little shout-outs.
Yeah.
The exterior shots for Erie, Pennsylvania, the hometown of the Wonders, they were filmed in Orange, California.
Okay.
You mentioned a montage of clips. There's a little thing where they're all on the map, all of the monkeys.
I think that's the same montage.
Okay, it's part of the same montage.
Yeah, and they run down the racetrack.
Yeah,
I think that's the same montage.
Run down the racetrack, and then they're on a giant map of the United States, and there
little
are
tricycles.
Little tricycles
Yes.
running around and all that, which is very much like the Monkees TV show, if you
Right.
remember that. But at one point, one of the characters falls off of his bicycle near Cleveland. Not an accident. Before becoming famous, Tom Hanks spent years in Cleveland acting in local theater, and to this day is still a diehard Cleveland Indians fan.
That was, if I remember correctly, that was actually a trivia question one night
Okay.
at someone's gig.
Okay, at a Joe
About Tom Hanks
Trivia night?
At a Joe Trivia. Plug for Joe Trivia.
JoeTrivia.com.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
not a paid endorsement, by the way.
No, it is not.
We just really like the guy.
We just love Joe for everything he did for us. Oh, and one other name note, too. Rita Wilson plays the waitress that's trying to pick up Skitch Patterson.
Right. Marguerite.
Her name, Marguerite, comes from her real name. Her birth name is Margarita.
That's right. She was not born Rita Wilson.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about some of the cool cameos in this movie, too.
Okay.
We mentioned some of them already, but let's go down the list. So the part of Hollywood Television Showcase host Troy Chesterfield is played by Peter Scolari.
Tom Hanks' co-star in the old sitcom Bosom Buddies from the early 1980s.
Yeah, and by the way, the studio where they filmed the scenes for the TV show, same studio where they record Price is Right.
I did not know that.
Now you do.
Wow. I should listen to this podcast more often.
That's what it's all about, man. You
Throwing
learn
out
cool
pearls
shit.
here, brothers and sisters.
That's right. You learn some cool shit about your favorite movies. The major motion picture director in the movie that, where Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack shooters.
Weekend at Party Pier.
Yes,
Do we have a
exactly.
top 5 record?
Yes.
Then why are we in this movie? Why are we doing this?
Oh, you'd rather be in Bismarck, North Dakota?
I vote for Weekend at Party
Yeah.
Pier. Good man.
But that director, by the way, is played by Jonathan Demme.
Yes. Who in real life directed Tom Hanks to an Oscar in 1993's Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. And Demme also won an Oscar himself for Silence of the Lambs. Hello, Clarice. So Tom Hanks' son, Colin, who's a great actor himself.
He has grown to become a fine actor in his own right, Colin Hanks.
Yes, he has. In fact, he had a prominent role in one of the seasons of Dexter on
Yes.
Showtime.
Yes, he did.
Among other things. He's the usher who escorts Faye into the theater at the Hollywood Television Showcase.
That's right.
Clint Howard.
Clint Howard, my goodness. Obviously, the brother of Hollywood director Ron Howard.
Right.
I think Clint Howard, it's in his contract. He has to have a cameo in every Ron Howard film
Yes.
or something like that.
I'm pretty sure he's in every single Ron
I think
Howard
he's in
film.
every Ron Howard film in some way, shape, or another. And since Tom Hanks and Ron Howard are very, very good close friends, of course, Clint Howard shows up. He's the DJ at the jazz station
Aha.
that interviews the Wonders.
KJZZ. KJiz.
Hey-oh!
So one of the other DJs from KMPC is played by Bridesmaids, The Heat, and the new Ghostbusters reboot director, Paul Feig.
That's right.
We mentioned Kevin Pollak as Boss Vic
Boss Vic Koslovich.
Wicked Game singer Chris Isaac as Uncle Bob.
As Uncle Bob, the church music recorder. Yep.
Yep. Here's one that's kind of interesting. The bass player that's in the female folk group that plays at the talent show.
We're drowning in the river. We're drowning. I love that guy.
Well, she's played by helicopter traffic reporter Jennifer York of KTLA TV Channel 5 Morning News. Good sound effects, man. Michael Winslow, look out.
Yeah, right.
She anchors the 11 a.m. newscast on the station as well in Los
Okay,
Angeles.
cool.
Long Duck Dong appears in this movie.
Oh, yes. Gede Watanabe as the Playtone photographer.
Yeah.
So, Sully, saw you at Chasen's with Suzanne Plachette. Yep, that's Gede Watanabe, Long Duck Dong himself.
Love it. This is a movie that, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I feel it has been overlooked by a lot of people just because it just really didn't. I don't know if it just came out at a weird time when there was other stuff that just kind of engulfed it.
Yeah, who
which
knows?
happens sometimes with great movies.
Sure, because the kicker is everybody I know that has seen this movie, they are so passionately enthusiastic about this movie.
It's one of the best movies about a music group that's
Yeah,
out there. I mean,
I agree.
It's so much fun, and it just makes you feel good. The song I mean, you hear the opening beat. It's just fucking great.
This movie is easily in my top 5 movies of all time about music
no doubt.
and or being in a band. My brother Mike, give a little shout out to my brother Mike. He's not a big movie guy.
Okay.
He's more of a television guy.
Okay.
But he and I can speak at length, enthusiastically and joyously about this. He loves this movie.
So you were telling me when you told him that you were going to do the podcast with me again, you said, guess what movie we're doing? And he said, what?
I just did the ba 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 ba. And he freaked out. His eyes got real big. He's like, oh my God, that's so awesome, man. You got to ask Jason if I could be on the podcast.
Yeah, and I would have loved to have had him down here, but I think our schedules just kind of didn't jive.
Yeah, it just didn't quite work out that way.
Yeah, so maybe another time. But I'm glad that he enjoys this movie as much as we do. That's
he
cool.
loves this movie.
Believe it or not, I actually saw this film in the theaters.
As did I.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Okay. I just remember seeing the trailer and thinking, wow, that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I was right.
And that's what the movie is from start to finish. My parents are both baby boomers, and they tell me lots of stories about what it was like to grow up in the 60s during this time and just to be sort of engulfed in the history and the music and the culture and everything that was going on at the time. I even bring my parents in to talk about the 60s when I teach the 60s to my students in school. And I was born in 1972, so I wasn't even around for this stuff. But man, this movie makes me nostalgic for a time I didn't even exist for.
Yeah. The time period that it portrays is a very cool time. I mean, there was obviously a lot of bad shit going on in the country at that time. But, there's an innocence that you see in the movie, everything about it, like the appliance store.
It comes in avocado, white, off-white.
Right. Just everything about it, and I always love movies like that where you see stuff before technology took over.
Right.
You know, it's just fun.
Like Mr. White says to Jimmy, I want something peppy, something happy, something up-tempo. I want something snappy.
Right.
And that's what this movie is to me.
Yeah.
It's a happy, up-tempo, peppy, snappy movie that's just from start to finish. It's joy.
It's just well done.
Joyous.
But we're saying that, but at the same time, it does have a lot of substance to it.
It does, very much so.
There's a little bit of a cautionary tale in it as well.
One of the things that my brothers and I taught, now he and I have been in bands, both together and separately. Nothing major, just your typical local cover bands, just kind of having fun, a bunch of guys getting together, nothing too serious. My brother has recorded and made an album of his own. Check it out on iTunes. The band is called Far From Okay. It's great stuff if you love great rock music. But, just the thrill of cutting a record and hearing it on the radio for the first time, and then going on tour, meeting your musical idol. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when a guy gets to meet and sit down with Del Paxton.
Yeah, it's
and
good
then
stuff.
Later in the movie, he's sitting in the studio and Del Paxton walks in. He's like, hey, you mind if I jam with you? He's like, you want to jam with me?
Exactly. That's
know?
like a dream come true for any musician.
Are you kidding me? I can picture like sitting in the studio and, my favorite band is Rush.
Right.
Like any of the guys walk in and saying, hey, man, you're pretty good. You mind if we jam? And, me trying not to shit my pants.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's funny because even not only Del Paxton in the movie, but he meets the guy that sings Mr. Downtown.
Yeah, Freddie Fredrickson.
Yeah, and he goes, "Oh man, this is crazy! That was the first record I ever
First
bought.
record I ever owned."
Yeah. And then of course Lenny says the line about to
Diane Dane.
I had my first boy girl thing.
Yeah, to a picture of you. And she's like, yeah, charming. Mm.
Yeah, that's why I love Lenny, because he just says things like that. Good stuff.
But that's just another example of what this movie is. It's about being foolish, being young, falling in love, and above all else, making music. I mean, to go back to the summer of '64, to be on the cusp of 21, 22 years old, hanging out with these guys, making music, traveling the country, girls
watching
going nuts.
your single going up the charts.
Just,
oh man, it's great.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Definitely check it out, That Thing You Do. And if you have anything else that you want to add to the conversation, you can join the conversation by emailing me, screenfacts@yahoo.com. You can also tweet me at Jason Davis Voice. You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com Jason Davis Voice. Also, please rate, comment, and subscribe on iTunes, and tell your family and friends about this podcast if you're enjoying it as much as we are enjoying making it for you.
And if you have no family or friends, then tell your enemies.
There you go. I don't care. As long as they listen, that's really all that matters.
The point is, go tell people about the podcast, please.
That's right. Post links on Facebook, Twitter, whatever other social media you use. Get the word out. That's all I ask. And my website, jasondavisvoice.com/podcast, has info about ScreenFacts t-shirts and some of the other options of where you can download and listen if iTunes isn't your favorite way to do this. So, Tim, anything else you want to add?
I am Spartacus.
Thanks for joining us. Please come back again next Wednesday for more Screen Facts with Jason Davis.